Hi, this is Paco, and we are going to unbox a new European standard. In fact, it's a consolidated version of a European standard, EN 17885, on fire safety requirements and test methods for candle accessories. And we are going to introduce this standard because it has some particularities and it is important to mention them. The scope of this European standard is that, the document specifies requirements and test methods for fire safety. It's important, fire safety of candle accessories. And the safety requirements and test methods are intended to cover most common risks, in particular related to fire safety. This document does not specify requirements or test methods for other risks resulting from the unforeseen combination of accessories with candles. That's important to know. There are some kind of risks that are not covered, and we will discuss about it. Also, this last modification was to exclude from the scope the candle holders that are intended for birthday cake candles. So that's an important element to take into consideration, but the standard is very complete, and we are going to see how important it is to ensure product safety for manufacturers. In fact, when we refer to candle accessories, we mainly refer to candle holders, candle snuffers, candle wick dippers, and wick trimmers. You have some of them in the image. Of course, candle holders is the most popular accessory, but we have other accessories that are also relevant. In fact, how to assess if our candle accessory is safe? First of all, which is the applicable legislation? In this case, is the regulation 2023/988, is the General Product Safety Regulation. And the General Product Safety Regulation contains a main requirement that says economic operators shall place or make available on the market only safe products. This means if your product is not safe, you cannot sell it or place it in the European Union market. And we are going to see what does it mean and how we can assess this. In particular, the Article 6 of the regulation also gives us additional information. When assessing whether the product is safe or not, we have to consider the characteristics of the product, including the design, technical features, composition, packaging, instructions for assembly, where applicable, or for installation, use, or maintenance. Also, the effect on other products. Let's say, in this case, the candle accessory, which effects may have on the candle and on other surrounding products, but also the effect that other products might have on our product, in our case, our candle accessory. So this is an important aspect. Article 5 gives us the general product safety requirement, and Article 6 gives us some clues on how to assess safety of the product. Just to mention that Article 6 contains additional clues, but we are only going to focus on these ones for the time being. So when we check if our product is safe or not, the main thing we have to do is to identify the main risks associated with the product. In this case, if we are selling a candle holder or other candle accessories, the main risks associated with fire safety are clearly fire and burns. But in this case, we may have to see if there are European standards, as identified in the Article 7 of the General Product Safety Regulation, that give presumption of conformity with the General Safety Requirement. Remember, the General Safety Requirement is that requirement, the Article 5, General Safety Requirements. So, do we have standards that support the GPSR to provide presumption of safety? In that case, we could enter in several places. I am going just to show you the list of harmonized standards. They are not called harmonized standards, of standards supporting the General Product Safety Regulation. In this case, we could go to the page of genorma.com and find the standards that are related to general product safety. But we also could go to the website of the European Commission and find, in this case, the consolidated text of the implementing decision 2019-1698. You have all the links in this video. You have all the QR codes. In this case, we can check the list of standards and we see there is no single standard. There are standards for furniture, for children's furniture, for stationary training equipment, for gymnastic equipment, for furniture, cycles, lighters. We have for lighters, but we have not for candle or candle supporting material. Accessories. So in this case, internal blinds, childcare articles, etc. So there is a list of products, but we cannot find candle accessories on that. So this means that when we check then the standards supporting the general product safety according to the Article 7, we cannot find any of these standards for candles. So we cannot obtain this kind of standards because the European Commission did not identify standards for candle accessories. But this is not all, because then here you have the QR codes, as I promised. Okay, also QR codes, you can check there the standards that are supporting the general product safety. But then the second question is, are additional elements that we can use to assess the safety of the products? And in this case, yes, we have found additional standards. And in this case, I was mentioning that we are now unboxing and packaging the EN 17885 standard of 2023 plus the amendment one that has been published on 2025. And here you have the information on the standard and how to obtain the standard. In particular, the standard, if we unbox it, we can see that contains some safety requirements. It's safety requirements here, and then we have requirements for flammability, for stability, for fire safety in general, surface temperature, and then for safe surface temperature we have other more specific requirements, general requirements, part intended to be touched, parts likely to be touched unintentionally, parts likely to come into contact with other materials, or temperature limits. So with this we have particular requirements for the candle accessories. We also have test methods, and the standard provides the test methods for the product to assess if the product is safe or not. And then the standard also contains something that is very relevant, which are product safety labels that manufacturers can use for calling the attention of the users of the candles and the candle accessories about safety of the products. So that's a very interesting standard, EN 17885 2003 plus the amendment A1 of 2025. So normally, apart from fire and burns, so fire safety risks related to fire or burns, we may find other risks associated with the candle accessories, like injuries, cuts, if there are some sharp edges, or entrapment, if there is a possibility that we could get our fingers or hands trapped. But we also have something that we cannot ignore, which are the chemical risks, because there are many dangerous substances, heavy metals, etc., that are present, could be present in the candle accessories, and this is something that we have to take into consideration. So in particular, if we have other risks, we could look for relevant European standards. I gave you the website of genorma.com, where you could find the information, but just to mention that also the General Product Safety Regulation contains specific information on other criteria you could use for assessing safety of the product. And in that case, remember, we were checking the Articles 7 and Article 8 of the regulation, and in this case we have the Article 8 Also, apart from European standards, we could use international standards, international agreements, voluntary conformity assessment or certification schemes, Commission recommendations, national standards drawn by the member states of the European Union, or the state of the art, or any code of good practice that could be available. We could use this material for assessing product safety. So that's an important element to take into consideration. And again, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope this presentation unboxing the EN 17885 was useful in case you are a manufacturer or an authority or a consumer that is curious about safety of the products you are buying. Thank you so much.